You were taught the correct way to strength train, right? Right? You know the foundation of almost every athlete's strength training comes from this system, right? What's going on, guys? My name's Andrew Reese, owner of Reese's Pumps Fitness. Welcome to how to build a systemic and sustainable approach to your dream physique. I graduated college in 2018 with a BA in kinesiology and knew I made the right choice when I realized I had a gift of clearly communicating quality movement and in communicating the importance of every aspect of health. Spreading natural and holistic health to the world is my calling. Since that realization, I've helped hundreds of men and women from zero experience to well-trained athletes how to build and keep their dream physique for life. And that's what I'm going to show you how to do right now for free. No strings attached. You're going to learn the right way to strength train, the right way to eat for your goals, and what we do here at Reese's Pumps to get you started. So without further ado, grab something to take notes with, put this video on 2x speed if needed, and let's dive in. This is how to build a systemic and sustainable approach to your dream physique. Who is this training for? The athlete who is ready to get bigger, faster, and stronger than ever using the best strength training system on the planet, the conjugate system. This is also for the ex-high school athlete who has let adulting catch up with them. This is also for the fitness newbie who doesn't know the first thing about a squat. And this is also for the middle-aged 9-to-5er who still feels mentally sharp but can feel themselves losing muscle over the years. Here are some common goals I hear. You want to get stronger and faster for your sport. You want to melt fat off your body. You want muscles bulging out of your clothes. You want to learn how to execute safe functional movements. You want to grow a dump truck booty or just more booty in general. Or you want to learn how to maintain your dream physique for life. But something's bothering you. Something is stopping you from these goals. Here are some common challenges I hear for these goals. You're plateauing. You are short on time. You have injuries that you don't know how to work around. You don't know how to move your body safely. Or you don't know what exercises you should be doing. What I'm about to show you in this training is how we at Reese's Pumps utilize the conjugate system plus a customized nutrition plan to build a systemic and sustainable approach to your dream physique. In the next 45 minutes, you will learn why I'm too tired is a weak-ass excuse, why it's not your genetics fault, and why you don't have to be in the gym 2 hours a day, 7 days a week to see results. You're gonna see how to build a clear and concise system to keep you at peak health year-round, and you're gonna see some real-life examples of clients learning a systemic and sustainable approach to their dream physique. Who was I? I've really learned a lot through my 15 years of lifting weights, but there really is a pre-conjugate system and a post-conjugate system, Andrew. Before I discovered the conjugate system, I was a confused young athlete. I felt like I worked harder than everybody else, but I'd never make any serious gains. I wanted to lift big boy numbers. I wanted my max lifts to start with 3s and 4s and 5s and no more 275-pound max squats. And of course I wanted to look good. It's just never been my top priority. I knew if I was strong, I'd look good. But every time I'd go too hard months of lifting, I'd strain something or irritate a joint from too much volume and improper form. I also thought I knew nutrition, and I did know more than the average citizen, but I knew I could be better. I had more to learn. Who I am now. One day in early 2020, some jack dude in my gym says, "Hey, you should watch West Side vs. the World." Well, the world shut down shortly after, so I had some time. I immediately realized I had just discovered the answer to all of my strength training problems. The way Louis Simmons broke down the systemic approach to the conjugate system and how perfectly the progressions worked and how the heavy lifts complemented the hypertrophy lifts, which complemented the muscular endurance lifts, it all just made too much sense. More on this system in a bit, but my whole career changed that day. As soon as gyms reopened, I went all in on the conjugate system and watched every lift go up 5 to 10 pounds every single month. I now use the conjugate system or a modified version with all of my clients. My fitness goals constantly get fine-tuned, but they are generally to be strong, athletic, feel good, and looking good will come with all of that. Now, I don't just train myself. Here are some client success stories. Let's start with my man Walker. Growing up, Walker was an absolute stud athlete in baseball and football. He could have been good at whatever he chose to be good at. But after high school, adulting had caught up. Walker's weight went from 180 pounds to 230 pounds over the years. His mental health was suffering, not to mention his athleticism. Walker laid out a few typical fitness goals. Lose 25 pounds and get to 205 pounds. Get stronger, get more mobile, strengthen his back specifically for firefighting, and my personal favorite, get traps like a buffalo. My man had a good idea of what to do thanks to high school sports, but he still needed help. He needed direction, knowing how much to work out, what to do, and for how long. He needed help with what to eat and how much, and he needed someone on his ass keeping him accountable for longer than a few weeks. We started Walker off slow. We did easier variations of the usual functional movements like squats, lunges, rows, etc. to let his muscular endurance build. We made minor changes to his diet at first. Instead of immediately eating drastically less, we just started making healthier choices. Once we got on a roll and built some new habits, we began pushing harder. We started using principles from the conjugate system and trained harder in the gym, really turning up the hypertrophy and building some muscle. We kicked up the cardio, low intensity but steady. Combining all of this with a clean diet and a little portion control began melting off the fat. 2 pounds down one week, none the next, then 3 pounds the next, and so on. After about 6 months, that scale read 205 pounds and he actually kept going after finishing with me, getting down under 200 pounds. But to Walker, that wasn't even the best part. His favorite result was how much better his mental health was. He is more confident and much happier. He is fulfilling his duty as a man to set a strong example for his wife and his sons. Most of my clients report this same lesson. Quote unquote, I learned how to stop eating like an a-hole. Along with that, Walker learned how to truly brace his core and protect his back while lifting heavy, which translates immensely to his job firefighting. He learned the proper amount of volume and frequency for his workouts, and all of this made his conditioning go through the roof. One day on his job, he had to lay fire hose 2.5 acres uphill and told me I didn't feel gassed at all. First time that's happened in a long time. I've also got some ladies crushing it, like Gia here. Gia came to me in a totally different situation than Walker. She's a girl. No, I'm just kidding. It was that Gia had never worked out in a gym before. She didn't know the first thing about a gym, functional movement, or how many grams of protein she should be eating. Like most girls, she wanted to tone up and grow her glutes. She wanted to get stronger overall, look better, and enjoy the confidence of looking better as well as knowing what to do on her own in the gym someday. Gia started off with the basics of functional movement, a lightly weighted goblet squat, hip thrusts, body weight lunges, Romanian deadlifts, etc. We started off strength training twice a week, sometimes 3 times a week. Counting macros can be a massive change for most people, so we had Gia begin with only counting how many grams of protein she was consuming. Thanks to not tearing her apart in the first few weeks and her prioritizing recovery by eating enough and sleeping, Gia began getting stronger quickly. Within a month, Gia had gone from never lifting weights ever to confidently putting a 45-pound bar on her back and squatting it. We quickly moved to the big muscle building movements and progressed on those for the next few months. For nutrition, Gia already ate a fairly clean diet. We just made sure she prioritized protein at each meal and didn't skip meals. And yes, Gia was now eating more than she used to and was toning up. Gia's stomach and legs quickly toned up and she dropped one of the funniest lines I've ever been told. Quote unquote, I finally got rid of this long back I've been carrying. For the first time in my life, I have some semblance of an ass. You're doing God's work. She also now had a good feel for how to maintain this muscle with her diet. Every meal needed to be based around protein, not just carbs and fats. But my favorite result was one of her final texts to me. When a client breaks up with their trainer because they're confident enough to do all of this on their own. Since Gia had actually listened and tried to learn the why behind everything instead of just showing up and being told what to do, she now was ready to do this on her own. I gave her a repeatable 6-month program and she hasn't stopped since. Bo's situation was actually much like Walker's. Bo was a stud athlete growing up. He played most sports but excelled in baseball, even playing a little bit of college ball. Bo was a lean, mean athlete. But like Walker and many others, adulting caught up. Bo got caught up in work and pounds unfortunately piled on. He loved to snowboard, golf, and stay active, but his body was hurting and he felt slow. He didn't have the energy to last as long as he wanted to. His mental health was suffering and he was ready to overhaul his health. He also had a lot of injuries that we needed to work around from years of sports. Bo had the typical goals: melt 20 pounds off his body while gaining muscle. He also wanted to enjoy his favorite activities without coming away with a minor strain or injury every time. He wanted to enjoy the confidence of a strong body and good posture and wanted to have more energy each day. We started off slow like any client that hasn't been lifting weights already. We began with lightly weighted functional movements to brush up on his technique and see what was hurting and what wasn't. We also began prioritizing protein and gave him a calorie goal since fat loss was a major goal. Within weeks, the athlete in Bo was already returning. His functional movements got stronger and stronger, and his nagging injuries got more and more stable. Eventually, Bo was doing most of the heavy functional movements and using the principles of the conjugate system. Bo combined 4 days a week of heavy lifting with some of his favorite activities like snowboarding and golf to get some cardio and burn some more calories. Bo was also making healthier choices with food, eating out less and prioritizing protein at each meal. Bo did all of these things not just for 2 weeks or 2 months, but 6 months straight with very few deviations. As you can see, he looks night and day different. 20 pounds melted off and all of his lifts were drastically stronger. His posture was better, his energy and confidence were up, and he could last all day snowboarding or golfing without stopping early due to injury. Like many, the biggest lesson Bo learned was how to eat healthy. He now understands why he should prioritize protein and not just eat out at every meal. He now understands what movements help his achy, nagging injuries, which ones bother him, and how to do the movements correctly. He now understands how long and how often he should work out in order to not kill himself in the gym. Now, Bo is doing his own thing with his new knowledge, never going back to the old Bo. After seeing her friends getting results with me, Sarah wanted in. Sarah came to me with a brief history in the gym, but barely remembered anything. Now in her 40s, years of working with her hands in the makeup industry had left her with arthritis in both wrists and hands. It had made her upper body very weak since she couldn't use her hands very well. All the sitting had made her hips and low back really tight as well. She came to me saying she wanted to tone up and get strong. She wanted to know the why behind everything she was doing as well. She wanted her wrists to get stronger and more mobile so she could work with her hands better as well. It had been a long time since she had done any of this and she had no idea where to start. Sarah began with the basics. We hammered the lighter variations of the functional movements for the first few months till she could execute those perfectly with good stability. One wrist was almost immobile, so certain pressing movements just weren't an option. Pulling movements were no issue. Pretty quickly, Sarah got better at these movements. Before we knew it, she put a bar on her back and squatted it for the first time in 20 plus years. Weights were beginning to go up, and she realized that there really weren't a ton of movements she couldn't do with her injuries. She was executing pretty much everything I gave her. She also took her diet very seriously. Very little eating out, tracking protein and calories, and rarely deviating from this. Sarah actually continues to train with me to this day. She enjoys having a plan written out, likes the adjustments we occasionally make to progress her, and likes the accountability. She has learned safe, functional movement and regained a new confidence in her ability to use her hands. She also learned the importance of protein in her meals, how to build healthy meals, and how big her portions should be. Some of you are watching this thinking, wow, if only I wasn't so tired from work, or I'll just never have blank because of my genetics, or I just don't have time to be in the gym 2 hours per day, 7 days per week. Well, I have news for you. Your thoughts are the only thing limiting you. Let's talk about why that's all these thoughts are, limiting beliefs. First, my favorite excuse, I'm too tired to work out. This has to be one of the laziest things I hear people say. The busiest entrepreneurs in the world find time to maintain their health, but you can't? If they don't, their body, business, family, and their whole life fails. Oh, but you're too tired from a long day at work? You know it's not illegal to get up early and work out. Yes, it will take some discipline. But if that's too much and working out after work is too much, what are you gonna do? Just stay out of shape for life? In the end, you're either gonna have the body you want or an excuse as to why you don't. It's really that simple. Second, another favorite, it's because of my genetics. Everybody who doesn't get results wants to think they have some special human body that doesn't follow the laws of thermodynamics. It can't be that they didn't go about their fitness goals correctly. I constantly hear, quote, I can't lose weight because of my slow metabolism, or I can't gain weight because of my fast metabolism. Your body really boils down to a math equation, calories in versus calories out. If you consume more calories than you are burning, you will gain weight. If you consume less calories than you are burning, you will lose weight. This math equation is called the first law of thermodynamics. Energy can neither be created nor destroyed, only converted from one form to another. This is absolute. It can't be debated. When you are trying to lose weight and you are burning calories, that energy must come from somewhere. It can either come from the food you have consumed or food stored on your body in the form of fat, muscle, or glycogen. If you are trying to gain weight, that body mass has to come from somewhere. You can't just build muscle from nothing. That mass has to come from a surplus of unburned energy and protein. I promise if you eat the correct amount of food for your goal and track your food for more than a couple weeks, you will watch your body and the scale change in exactly the way you want it to. Lastly, The good old excuse, I don't have time to be in the gym 2 hours a day, 7 days a week. You know the most jacked dudes in the gym aren't in the gym that long, right? Matter of fact, many people in the fitness industry are realizing they have been doing too much volume. All you need is 3 to 5 hours per week in the gym to see phenomenal results. If you don't have enough time to do any activity for 150 minutes a week, you've got too much stuff going on in life and you need to prioritize yourself a bit. You're gonna burn out or get sick and eventually not be able to do whatever it is that you're putting all that time into. If you have fallen into any one of these myths, relax. It's not your fault. You were failed at a young age by the education system. From an early age, we are taught history, English, math, the basics of science, etc. But for me and many others, health, and more specifically the effects of exercise on our body, was barely covered throughout my years of middle school or high school. Most kids aren't being taught how to squat safely, how to deadlift safely, how to identify an unprocessed organic food, and then how to cook it, what the effects of exercise has on your cardiovascular system and organs, etc. Even basic stats about how the amount of activity you do per day is directly correlated to your life expectancy would be helpful to know as a kid to help you understand at an early age why you should be active and not sit on the couch all day playing video games. There's the age-old saying, you don't know what you don't know. I used to be right there with you. I didn't know anything about how to maintain my health, gain muscle, or burn fat. How could we? We didn't know this stuff thanks to the foundation of our education systems. The only way I learned this stuff was by deciding I wanted to be healthier and getting educated myself. Here's what you need to do. You are here. You're feeling skinny fat or wanting more muscle, or you're struggling just to burn fat. You might need more speed or strength for your sport. Or maybe you're feeling like you'll never have a butt because of bad genetics. You want to be here, feeling lean and toned, hitting PRs weekly, seeing muscles grow that you never thought you'd see, and noticing speed and strength on the field that you never had before. This is the 5 pillars of a systemic and sustainable approach to your dream physique. We've got live training, we've got the conjugate system, the customized nutrition, accountability, and education. Let's talk about live training. Most online training programs lack actual live personal training, something where a trainer is stopping you and correcting your movements in real time. How are you supposed to execute a workout program if you've never been taught the foundation of functional movement? What is functional movement? This is about 6 to 8 basic movements that every able-bodied human being should be able to do. Every single person should know how to execute these movements: a squat, a hinge, a horizontal push, a horizontal pull, a vertical push, and a vertical pull. Once you learn these, you're not done learning safe functional movement. The most challenging progressions, like barbell squats and deadlifts, require great technique to not get injured. Good technique also ensures you are working the correct muscles. You need to learn these before starting a program. But not just once. Like anything, it takes reps to master something. You need to get feedback as you continue to learn. A healthy body allows us to be consistent. Consistency is one of the biggest ingredients for success in your fitness goals. Pillar number 2, proper strength training using the conjugate system. Building muscle is the most important part of all of this, whether you are trying to lose or gain weight. If you want to gain weight, you obviously want it to be muscle, not fat. If you are trying to lose weight, building more muscle requires more calories to maintain. Since we want to be in a calorie deficit to burn fat, having more muscle will make it easier to burn more calories and get into a deficit because that muscle requires calories to maintain it. So, if you are going to try and build muscle, why wouldn't you use the best strength training system on the planet? The conjugate system. Traditional American block training, what a lot of you are doing, is completely obsolete. This is when you stay in the same rep range, like 10 to 12 reps, for all exercises for a few months, then change the rep range to say 5 to 6 reps for all exercises for a few months, and so on. This leaves you out of shape for other aspects of strength. You aren't used to heavy weights, which doesn't allow you to truly demonstrate your true strength. Or, if you are in a heavier month already, you get out of shape and you aren't used to higher reps. After studying Chinese and Russian literature, Louis Simmons founded and perfected the conjugate system in his gym in Columbus, Ohio called Westside Barbell. The conjugate system is a strength training system that works all elements of strength week in and week out. We've got absolute strength. This means heavy weights for 1 to 3 reps. This will grow some muscle, but is more so to train the central nervous system to teach you how to truly push and demonstrate your strength. Then there's power reps. This can be light, like body weight or less, or heavy, but moving with speed. Power work is usually in the 1 to 5 rep range and is used to train for speed, but muscle gets built from this too. Then there's the hypertrophy rep range. Most of our workouts are hypertrophy work. This is when we use moderately heavy weight for 6 to 15 reps usually, moving slower and trying to fatigue the muscle to make it grow. Hypertrophy literally means muscle tissue growing. This is the optimal range for that effect. However, growing the muscle and getting stronger are two different things. This is the optimal range for growing the muscle, whereas the heavy stuff is the optimal range for getting strong. And lastly, there's the muscular endurance rep range. This is sets of 15 plus reps. This builds work capacity and conditioning, allowing you to lift weights and practice longer. You also get some hypertrophy up to 30 reps or so. This doesn't mean you have to squat, bench, and deadlift heavy. It applies to all exercises. Many athletes don't realize it since they don't know powerlifting history, but the conjugate system is the foundation of most athletes' strength programs. Athletes need to be strong, fast, and have endurance. Bodybuilding programs often leave people plateauing. You hit the same rep ranges and just get stale. Your muscles never feel a new stimulus from heavy weight or light weights. The heavy lifts and muscular endurance exercises help the hypertrophy drastically. The heavy lifts make your hypertrophy work seem lighter, allowing you to do more reps than normal. Then your muscles grow and you go back to the heavy work with your newly built muscle and you push a new max. Here's where the quote-unquote system part comes in. The conjugate system is a very mathematical system. You work off percentages of your maxes, and the linear progress you will see as you track your numbers will give you a little mental wins each week. It will also ensure that your reps, which are based off of percentages for your maxes, go up each week. It's much easier to stay motivated when you are watching a plan work via hard data. Then we've got pillar number 3, customized nutrition. Macronutrients are the main nutrients we need in large quantities. This includes protein, carbs, and fats. This is opposed to micronutrients, which are things like vitamins and minerals. Macronutrients make up the majority of your diet. Remember the first law of thermodynamics, where energy can neither be created nor destroyed, and how that applies to our body weight? Controlling these macros are key to weight loss and weight gain. Every human is different, meaning we all have different nutritional needs. Developing custom macronutrient goals based on your fitness goal, activity level, current weight, gender, and numerous other factors is a must. Your body is a math equation and you need to control the input, track the data, and see what your body does. From there, you can adjust. However, these macronutrient goals don't just hit themselves, especially when you have no actual plan to hit them. This is where the meal plan comes in handy. Developing a meal plan that hits your macronutrient needs is crucial to dominating your fitness goals. Not only that, but this plan needs to be actually sustainable. You need to be able to actually see yourself cooking these meals, cleaning up after yourself, and more importantly, enjoying these meals. If you aren't controlling your diet, change will be hard. It's easy to put on muscle as long as you hit your workouts and eat enough protein, but to truly get lean and make your muscles show, it's all about the diet. Fat loss happens when you're in a calorie deficit. It's much easier to not eat 500 extra calories from a muffin in 10 minutes than to try to burn 500 extra calories from an hour-long HIIT workout. On to the 4th pillar, accountability. It's really easy to tell yourself you want something and that you are going to do the things needed to be done to achieve that goal. But most things are usually easier said than done. Even the most mentally tough people in the world often have someone holding them accountable in life. Working out is no different. Some days you just aren't feeling it. Maybe you didn't sleep well. Or you think you can't possibly work around an injury. Things come up. Or sometimes something in your workouts needs to be adjusted. However, it can be hard to see that yourself. People often need a second set of eyes on them. There's actually a saying in the fitness industry, even coaches need coaches. It's hard for me to even see some of my mistakes sometimes. Adjustments, feedback, and help in general are often the difference between someone continuing a fitness program or letting all of their fitness goals go because they just keep getting hurt or they don't know what to do. And lastly, the 5th pillar, education. Education should be a part of any good fitness program, and it should come in many forms. Why? So you can continue on your own long after you are done with the program. One form of education should be you actually doing the program. Duh. You can study something all you want, but there's nothing like doing the actual thing. I've learned this time and time again myself. You might do new exercises, you might make changes to the way you do current exercises, you might start cooking a new meal, or maybe you will just make the small changes to your current meals. Going through the process should teach you new things daily. The second form of education should be the kind you read and study. This could be PDFs or videos for an online program. Nobody likes being told to do something without understanding why they are doing it. Knowing the why behind what you are doing makes staying motivated much easier. Knowing the why behind what you are doing will also help you sustain your results long after you're done working together with your online trainer. So how do you build a systemic and sustainable approach to your dream physique? The answer is pretty clear. 1, learn how to execute functional movement safely. Now you know how to move your body safely for life. Number 2, use the best strength training system on the planet, the conjugate system, to build muscle. Number 3, hit the correct macros with mostly unprocessed organic foods using a meal plan that you can actually see yourself executing. Number 4, have another set of eyes on you, keeping you accountable and adjusting anything that needs to be adjusted. And number 5, learn both from doing and studying so that you can do all of this on your own someday. At this point, you have 2 choices. On the left, you can figure it out on your own, which is a little bit more high risk. You might lose time, you might waste money. Or on the right side, we can do it together. This is going to be lower risk, it's going to save you time and save you money. Here's what happens to some of my clients that took the leap and started their fitness journey with Reese's Pumps. On the left, we got my boy Travis flexing in one of my shirts. In the middle, my client Eric decided out of nowhere he's gonna max and got 325 on bench. On the right, my client Katie, who had just seen a client for the first time in weeks, got told she had looked drastically different. On the left, one of my clients, Kira, had her bra band size shrink from a size 34 to a size 32. In the middle, one of my clients telling me how good it feels to just have a plan in the gym and not have to think about what they're doing. On the right, we have one of my first clients, John, happily leaving the gym after being done. On the bottom left, one of my clients was pumped to get her first ever pull-up. So many clients come to me with this goal. In the middle, one of my first clients, Michaela, at one of my first gym jobs, happily leaving the gym again after some good work. And on the right, we've got a client who's happy to be done looking up YouTube videos in the middle of their workout to see how exercises are done correctly. Top left, my boy Walker, who I mentioned earlier, hit a bench max of 280. He actually passed me on bench press in this program. On the bottom left, one of my clients who I had told was seeing changes didn't believe me, but then one of her coworkers noticed her butt looked great. In the middle, my client Katie, again, selling all of her old pants because they don't fit anymore. Her butt grew too much. And on the right, those are her measurements of her butt actually growing. The reason why I show you this is to prove you can achieve your dream physique without being in the gym 2 hours a day, 7 days a week, how none of these people let their bad genes stop them from building their bodies, and to show you that you can reach new heights you never thought possible. Let's talk about some frequently asked questions. How much time do I need for this fitness program? I don't have a lot of time. Well, we will make this program work for your schedule. It could be as low as 3 hours a week in the gym, but more is definitely better. The busiest entrepreneurs in the world find time for their fitness. I bet you can too. And if you don't, eventually your body will force you to take time for your fitness via illness or disease. But what if I don't have a gym membership? That's totally fine. I've gotten people started at home with zero equipment whatsoever. However, a basic amount of equipment helps a ton if you aren't going to get a gym membership. Even a $10 pack of bands off Amazon will greatly expand your choice of exercises. Eventually, if you really want to change your body, a gym membership or heavier weights will be greatly beneficial. Without weights, you have to push yourself very hard with just body weight and do a lot of reps and get very creative when you have zero equipment. How long will my results take? Well, that depends on a lot. If you are very new to fitness and fully buy in, you could see extremely fast results. Or if you have some weightlifting experience but completely buy in, you can still see very fast results. Most people begin to see results within 60 days and major changes at the 6-month mark. Realistic muscle gain is only a pound or 2 a month. Realistic fat loss depends more on the body fat percentage. If you have a lot of body fat, you could lose 5 to 10 pounds a month for quite a while. But as you get leaner, 2 to 5 pounds of fat loss per month is a lot more realistic. I have an injury. Can I still do your program? This greatly depends on the injury, but it's rare that someone comes to me with an injury that I'm not able to work around. Getting injured doesn't mean you should automatically be bedridden. Many injuries don't need surgery and really just need the prescribed physical therapy to actually be done. Physical therapy is just the beginning stages of strength training. So get moving. From here, you have a choice. Join the hundreds of clients I've helped turn their dream physique into a reality, or keep scrolling Instagram. Up to you. Well, where do you get started from here? The Reese's Pumps Peak Performance Protocol is a great place to get started. Let me break down how we deliver this. First, we're gonna give you live training. First, we're gonna give you an intro to functional movement. Here, you will learn the basics of a squat, a deadlift, a horizontal push, a vertical pull, etc. Once you understand these, you now know how to move your body safely. Almost every movement in the gym is a variation of one of these movements. After you've taken some time to master the functional movement, or if you're already an advanced lifter coming to me, we'll move on to the next session, which is the intro to advanced compound movements. This is where I'm going to teach you the big lifts like barbell squats, barbell deadlifts, barbell bench, etc. These are the bigger, dangerous movements that you need really good form on. Secondly, you'll have customized workouts featuring the conjugate system. Workouts are delivered via the TrueCoach app. Workouts include warm-up, strength training, plyometrics, mobility, and cardio. Workouts are customized to your goals, your biomechanics, your schedule, your gym or available equipment, etc. Everything is customized. You'll have demonstration videos with every exercise. You'll have a place to log your weights, and then you'll have an exercise history button to go back and look at what weight you used last time so that you can progress. And lastly, you'll have a place to submit form videos for form correction. Third, we have customized nutrition. First, we will hop on a Zoom call together to get you absolutely dialed. We will start by calculating your custom macros based on your age, height, weight, gender, activity level, goals, etc. We will take everything into account. And then the important part. We will build you a meal plan using eatthismuch.com that you actually like, that actually works for your schedule, and that you can actually see yourself cooking and cleaning, etc. Fourth, we'll have weekly check-ins and accountability for you. Each week, we will check in via Zoom. This is my opportunity to go over all of the data you are giving me and make adjustments. It could be your workout schedule, your exercise selection, maybe an adjustment to your macros or meal plan, etc. This is also a mental check-in for you to make sure you are enjoying things, you're understanding things, you're motivated, or anything else you might feel like talking to me about. And fifth, we've got education for you. Education will come in many forms and often. The main form will be going through the process. There will also be PDFs and educational videos available to you. You will also have unlimited access to me for questions. So, you ready to get that live personal training session on your schedule next week? Send me the message, Reese's Pumps, and I'll know that you are actually ready to change your life.